Congratulations, you've crossed the threshold outside of your 20s and are now tapping into your 30s, where the level of maturity finally starts to sink in for most men. Women already have been mature since like 11, but we still don't get mature till, I mean, realistically, like 60 years old. But the fragrance should reflect that. When you cross over into that big 3-0 stage, your fragrance needs to speak that 3-0 stage. You're leveling up in your work life, potentially starting to get into relationships or really finding relationships that matter, and you want to put together and present an entire package including the scents that you now have left in your 20s and are now bringing into your 30s. Now your boy's gonna put you onto 10 niche and designer fragrances to welcome into your 30s, because these are gonna be killer fragrances that you need once you land into that 30 space to bag or keep that delicious hot pocket.
We're all alone. In case you cared, out of all your friends, I want to be
Blessed morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. It's your boy, C to the U to the B to the A. So these are going to be 10 fragrances. I did them half and half, niche and designer, all different price points, some accessible at stores, some accessible online. Either way, they are readily available. And of course, I gotta throw in one honorable mention. And if you're a fan of the channel, you already know what time it is. Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo is a fragrance that you need in your collection. There's gonna be 5,000 more videos of me and different fragrance content. Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo should be in every single one of them. It is one of my grail pieces in my collection, an absolute hitter. The shit bullseyes every time. It's a sniper of a fragrance, and in your 30s, you absolutely need this joint in your stash. Now let's get along with this list. So they're in no real particular order, but I wanna start off with a designer fragrance that screams 30s plus, masculine, sexy, wearable oud with a beautiful creamy vanilla and lavender essence. And that's Armani's Stronger With You Oud. Stronger With You Oud made a gorgeous impression when I first smelled this joint. The Stronger With You lineup is a heavy hitter. I mean, how many flankers do they have at this point? I think like 5 or 6, I feel, with another 17 dropping tomorrow. But this one just screams that level of masculinity that you're looking for in your 30s. All this conversation of oud that you've heard from all these YouTube videos, but don't know if you want to get into that funky, fecal, animalic portion. You want something wearable, easily attainable in a department store, but still has that grown man swag on it. Armani Stronger With You Oud absolutely has that. You get all the elements from the Stronger With You lineup, however you get the body of the oud. The oud shines in here, still very wearable, slightly synthetic, but it really doesn't matter because you're tiptoeing into that space and you're still looking for something in the designer space with a beautiful, sexy, deep mass appeal, and this one definitely has it for you. So let's go on to the next one. Now in the niche space, this one is going to be on so many lists, it's not even funny because it's just that good. It's an amazing sandalwood scent profile, and that's Amouage Reflection Man. Reflection Man just has this deep, sexy, sandalwoody, peppery, super musky, yet very inviting and sexual attention of masculinity and maturity in this scent profile. It's loved by everybody who smelled it. It has been compared in the past to like a Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Mans. I don't personally, and I've said this on many videos, I don't think they're in that same space that much, to be honest with you. Le Mans is not a fragrance that I rock with. I don't want a bottle with a full man torso and bulge hanging out. Like, this shit doesn't have that same swag that Reflection Man does. It's like saying me and Sylvester Stallone from the 90s are the same dude. Fam, I got tits. Your man's got pecs. Yeah, we're both dude. That's about the only similarity. Reflection Man would be the old school Sylvester Stallone. It is your action movie star, if there even is any nowadays. Who is it? The Rock and Kevin Hart? Stop. In my day, men's men were like Stallone, you bum, Pacino,
Vanity, definitely my favorite scent.
Swatch and Pekka,
I'll be back.
and Nino Brown from New Jack City.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
So if you want to get into an amazing, mass-appealing scent profile that is absolutely perfect for a grown-ass man in his 30s, Amouage Reflection Man is key. Next one. Richard Gere in a bottle. That's Marc-Antoine Barrios. Ganymede. as I like to call Gynamine. I mean, it's pretty woman limousine climbing up the fire escape situation. It is a multi-billionaire property owner that doesn't have time for a relationship. He just wants to smash and grab, but he finally found some good puss and now wants to wife her up in hopes of setting up a threesome with her boot-snorting friend who hides her bling in the back of a toilet. That is what Ganymede does to you. It's mineralic, it's musky, it's leather, it's sexy. It's got kind of this old school element with the violet leaf that reminds you of a little of like a Dior Fahrenheit with a modern day twist. Absolutely stellar scent profile, not for the youngins. So you gotta be 30 plus to really exude that pH sex appeal that you're gonna pop off your skin with something, and that Gynamine will help enhance that sex appeal in your 30s tenfold. Next one. Let's jump back into the designer space with a little Spice Bomb Infrared. I'm not the biggest Spice Bomb fan. Truth be told, Infrared is just one of those ones that hits different. Spice Bomb has a ton of other flankers, and it's not that they're bad at all, it's just not my personal taste. But something about Spice Bomb's like peppery, fruity vibe really just resonated off my skin and had a beautiful projection off of it. Amazing performance. The Spice Bomb joints have been known to hit and hit well, but this one for me just screams masculinely sexy. Older, gentlemanly, and kind of classy, but still likes to go out and party with the young bucks. It's like the perfect dusting of a spice rack and shit. You got an allspice mix with a little bit of like a heavy cinnamon and nutmeg aspect, and then you got that base that dries down into this sexy pipe tobacco vibe that is beautiful. I think for a 30-plus-year-old that wants to still go out and be in the mixy scene, this is definitely a fragrance that will get you the compliments that you're particularly looking for. It's a killer fragrance for you to rock in your 30s. Definitely recommend you at least try that joint out. Next one. An incredible leather and tobacco fragrance that isn't super expensive in the niche space, and that's Zaharoff's Leather Tobacco. Amazing. It's a man's man, masculinity, depth, sex appeal, beautiful, chewy, like slightly moist. Ugh, hate that word. Tobacco mixed with like a supple, butter soft leather, like that beautiful long leather trench, custom bespoke type made by a tailor with the hands of a god. Leather Tobacco has all these deep notes, honey, leather, oud, and then it still has juicy components like plum, which is such a slept on fragrance note that I highly recommend you guys try this scent profile out. It's masculinity to its finest, super sexy, very refined. You can go to that networking event or that corporate situation, suited and booted, looking amazing, and still have that liquid courage that you have sprayed over you with Leather Tobacco. It is an incredible scent profile and definitely catered for the killer man in you over your 30s. Next one. It was hard picking a fragrance from this lineup because Roberto Cavalli hit this shit out of the park with their entire Uomo lineup, and Deep Desire has been one of those that just hits that 30-year-old mark perfectly. Also spicy, but a very refined, soft, clean spice, followed by a beautiful muskiness and this nice, warm, addictive, cuddly sensation through it. Usually their masculine fragrances are like wood forward. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like this old school like lumberjack impression left in our brains. These Paul Bunyan motherfuckers. It's like this dude, or what is it, on TikTok and shit that girls be creaming all over. Dudes just in freaking overalls and shit chopping wood. Like, come on, Babo, this is what we're doing?
No, it's, yeah.
Open for me.
Oh, okay.
We got New York construction workers doing that shit all day with concrete and you slapping wood, pussy. But something about this barbaric type scent profile of wood, nature, going back to caveman times, burning, building, something about that, you compose it in a fragrance and it apparently calls the opposite sex. Women are attracted to it. The men are the hunters, the providers, the leaders. Except nowadays, women are making like 4 times more by showing a nip. Shout out to OnlyFans queens. And Deep Desire in the designer space is a beautiful, sexy scent profile, but if I were you personally, just get the whole freaking lineup. The Roberto Cavalli lineup is just a banger. That Uomo line, just get them all. They're fantastic, but Deep Desire is definitely one of them killer fragrances for men over their 30s. Next one. As a whiskey lover, I mean, shout out to Buchanan's, sponsor me, Buffalo Trace, sponsor me, because these are my crack. If I were to do a blood test right now, it would come out Pete. And for me, Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé, it is ultimate sex magnet. Gorgeously powdery, iris, booze, aged in whiskey barrels. Like, just touch me in the morning and don't call me again. This fragrance just oozes big dick energy. This is just what it is. It is the dude in the locker room who's just... definitely wouldn't know what that would be like. That has that kind of confidence. This fragrance exudes that kind of confidence. You're just oozing that shit. Pause. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Remarkably sexy, extraordinarily alluring, masculinity to the 20th power, and is a sex magnet scent profile. If you don't have it, you absolutely need it. It's that fucking good, especially for my brothers over their 30s. Next one. There is talks. 30 is the new 20. You're still a little bit immature. You're still getting your bearings straight, and you still want to be in the scene. You haven't found that significant other. You're finding Mrs. Right now, but not Mrs. Right. So you still find yourself in these mixy type scenarios. Meatpacking district, LA party scene, downtown Miami. You need something that still has that power, that has that mass appeal, that has that overall sexy factor, but still has an element of maturity. And for me, Aaron Terrence Hughes Supernova will satisfy all of those, including amazing sillage and performance. A very hyped fragrance that's starting to get more notoriety the more that it comes into the scene, and without question, this shit is incredible. It's got a lot of the hypey notes. When you find some of these sexy fragrances in the niche space, you find notes like pineapple, apple, musk, bergamons, then elements of ginger to add that spicy element. And this one is kind of like apple, sweet musk power that really has this crazy sillage bubble that just gets people like, ooh shit. You know, if you want to put it in the space of like an Elysium or a Creed Aventus, it has that overall mass appeal, a Dior Sauvage, that hypey fuckboy kind of vibe, but with a level of maturity, which is what we're looking for. Us men over our 30s, and I'm over 30, like to feel that we haven't lost our swag, even if we're married for too fucking long. When we get time away from our spouses, we want to go out in the scene and just feel like we kind of got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still got a little bit of swag. Yeah, my body's built like a melted candle. So what? I'm still cute in the face, and I got a nice big Amex card. Aaron Terrence Hughes will give you that spurt of young spry energy. It's like having that cute adrenaline rush that lasts 28 seconds. Aaron Terrence Hughes absolutely will hit that on the head for the mass appeal 30-plus-year-old that's still in the scene trying to bag up multiples. Next one. And let's bring it on back to some grown man shit with Narcisco Rodriguez Blue Noir Parfum. A fragrance that took me some time. Took my nose a little bit of time to develop and really appreciate that scent for what it is and what it really does off your skin. It's one of these fragrances that I definitely recommend, but I also recommend you to try first to see how it pops off your skin. It's a powerful musky fragrance that sometimes may come off a little bit like a bag of wet nickels. It's a fascinating musk scent with like cardamom sweet elements, but it can be a little bit challenging if your nose ain't there yet. So it's one of those scent profiles that I highly encourage you to try, but definitely find a smaller ml, maybe a 30 ml, or just bag up a sample, a 10 ml joint, just to see how that shit would play off of your skin. I think it's a super masculine fragrance, definitely for over 30. I would even go as far as to say 35 plus, because it has that kind of energy and space. Very elegant, absolute wedding appropriate, holiday parties, chilly falls, brisky winters, long trench coat, big puffy scarf. It screams that kind of grown man energy. This is definitely not in your 20s type scent profile. If you're wearing this in your 20s, you're definitely aging too fast. Keep making mistakes and not pulling out, because this is the time for you to do it. Damn, if Plan B was around when I was younger. I'm kidding, that's inappropriate. Next one. And finally, sweetness. This joint has taken over the world by storm. It's been replicated and copied so many times, it's giving Aventus a run for its money, and that's Killian's Angel Share. This sweet, concoctive, boozy scent profile has been driving women crazy. Not a budget fragrance at all, but there's so many alternatives out there in the clone space that you can really play with that don't hit 100%, but will satisfy that scent profile that you're looking for. Angel Share is a beautiful, nutty, sweet, very seductive, slightly sticky scent profile that isn't cloying, and it absolutely garners a ton of compliments when worn. It's just a gorgerific scent profile that will just attract people like moths to a flame. I feel like it has this hidden jazzy kind of element, this slow, melodic, like background music, very scenic in a movie type essence, like just that slow cinematic walk through and then you're just hearing the beautiful saxophone just humming away. It gives me that kind of element. It's not super loud, but it's a sleeper enough. It's sniperish enough. It's on the low enough to just have them like, it seems interesting. If you haven't tried it, highly recommend you do. And these are 10 killer fragrances I recommend for my gentlemen over the age of 30. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your boy's almost at 100K, so let's share these joints. Let me know what your favorite fragrance is over the age of 30. Leave it in the comments below. I love y'all mother suckers from the heart, and I'll see y'all snitches next time. You know who it is, biggest in the game. Smooches.
What's fresh? Who's best? One of them's gonna pass the test. Cubaknow.
For the fly gun holder, money folder, Motorola start tag when it's time to call back. For the rough, rugged, and raw way, this nigga Jay, it's a game, but he don't play. Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you would.